All right, speaking of those Kings, 5th and 10th overall picks, how quickly, the fans want to know, can they get back into playoff contention? There you go. You got your
all
Sacramento
right.
gear on. You're rocking it.
Represent. And look, can I just, can I make this point as well? The Kings down the stretch last year won games and there was grumbling in the arena because the thought was you have to lose every single game to get as many ping pong balls, to get as many chances to win. And I remember joking at the end of the year saying, you know what, you play hard, and if you win, you win. The Kings won a game against Minnesota that they maybe shouldn't have won. They beat Memphis one night in which they didn't play any young guys, but Dave Yeager wanted to beat his former team. And you're thinking those are wins that are going to hurt you when it comes to your picks. You might lose your pick. You know what? The basketball gods came out in the Kings' favor yesterday. If you play the game and try to win, you play at a higher level, even if you stink, right? But you get some wins, you get rewarded in the end. And for the Kings, this is about the best they could have hoped for, to move up to 5 and then to get the Pelicans pick at number 10. They have 2 opportunities and one that moves up. It's going to add them. Here's the odd thing, Alexa. They're going to add 2 decent players coming up. You never know. Maybe one of them the number 5 can turn out to be as good as Kevin Garnett, the greatest number 5 pick ever taken. And the number 10 pick can be Paul George, who was a number 10 pick in the first round. And if that happens, they're going to be spectacular. But mark my words, they won 32 games last year. I bet they win 24 next year because they're going to play even younger. They're going to be younger. Well, they're going to have more upside eventually. This team isn't going to win 32 next year. So it's a hard scale to gauge. But I think for the Kings fans, they're going crazy in Sacramento today. They are absolutely going crazy with excitement. They think finally basketball gods are shining on them.
Hey, Jim, what is the reaction from the Sacramento Kings fan base to seeing what Isaiah Thomas is doing in Boston, a former draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant, if you will, of that draft for the Sacramento Kings way back when, coming out of the University of Washington?
Yeah, it's tough because they fell in love with Isaiah Thomas. The town fell in love with Isaiah Thomas, and what's not to like about this guy, right? I believe he was taken in the same draft as Jimmer Fredette, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
Last guy taken.
Yep.
That same draft. Town falls in love with the guy. They want him to be around. He's in all the TV commercials, so he's making the side money, and he's around town, and he's wanting to be there. And they're sick. They're sick that he's not wearing the Kings uniform, but they're happy for him individually. You know, and obviously sad for his personal tragedy that he's had to go through. It's a real conflicting opinion there because it's one of those where a lot of people wanted him to be around and thought he's going to be, look, you got a young, exciting point guard, and at the time you had a big man in DeMarcus Cousins. Word is, DeMarcus Cousins didn't like Isaiah Thomas getting all of that love from the Sacramento community. DeMarcus likes to be the centerpiece to everything. So it wasn't going to work out. It's a horrible shame he's not there because the Kings actually made some positive moves and picks, and yet they haven't been able to keep those guys around. And it's a real embarrassment to the previous regime. That shouldn't go on Vlade Divac and this crew. It's to the previous regime. But they absolutely love Isaiah Thomas, and it makes them sick on the player side. It makes them sick that he's not wearing Kings colors anymore.